Hello everybody, and a very warm welcome to you, because I think that in a moment I will be live. It doesn't quite tell me exactly when I'm live, but I think it's happening. So thank you very, very much for joining me today. Here in Athens it's almost midnight, and I think that those of you in America, it's some of you are just almost beginning your day. So I wanted to speak to you about a subject as we approach this full moon in Pisces, about whether our lives are predestined by the planets or not. How much is our free will, and how much of it is destiny that is not our free will? And I get many emails about this question. Is the astrology, are the planets showing me in my chart that my life has a certain predestination to it? Or do the planets maybe give an outline of possibility, and I've got some free will to determine how those planetary configurations will play out? It's a great question, it's a big question. So I'm going to ask some of you as you come online with me today, this issue of whether it's luck. Is there just the luck of the draw? Do some of us have really good money aspects? Some of us have really good love aspects? Or do some of us just have really difficult health aspects or money, financial? Do some of us have a load of skills and talents in our charts, and some of us have very few? How much can you see in an astrology chart, and how much is not there for us to know as astrologers? Big subject. So I'd love to somehow, I don't know if I can do a poll live. I'm sure there is a way to do it, but I haven't worked out the technology yet. But if you had to choose, do you think that we are influenced by the planets? Would you say that they do have an influence on our lives globally and personally? Or would you say, no, they have very little influence on our lives? We get to choose. Thank you. So some of you are saying Enlightened Edits is saying feels like it's a guide, but if you come into your own awareness and power, you've got the power to redraw it. Love that. I would say as an overall picture, sometimes the truth is in the middle. Eileen, thank you, Eileen. Yes. Can it be black and white? No. I don't think it is black and white. And even the things that we think are black and white are often redrawn. It used to be thought, and of course there are many who still think that yet, if you look at videos on YouTube, that the earth was flat. And there are still many who think and are shouting and saying, yes, the earth is flat and it's not round. So we had to change. We had to learn to change, to live with a new paradigm or a new understanding, a greater understanding. So right now, Astrology is at a certain level, and I'm sure there are higher levels to it. Thank you, Karen. Each of us choose a certain blueprint prior to birth. That's a belief, yes. It's like a template, and it's up to us to work with it. That's very good. Thank you. Planets guide the game, but they don't necessarily determine the outcome. We can choose how we deal with it. Okay. Thank you. This is great. I love that we're interacting here. I want you to get to think about this. It's important. I think if we just free will, are we just actors and our destiny's already been written? Maybe. I don't know. I could give you my opinion. And looking at, yes, it can be debated on many levels. And an astrology chart, as an astrologer, I can interpret somebody's chart on many different levels. And what I'm trying to gauge when I'm doing a reading is where on the evolutionary path is this person who's come to me? What are their questions? What are they looking for? Some of you say, yes, you're choosing, Tracy, we choose our path before we're born. To what extent? It's great. We're all in this together. But it's great. So, how do I see it? Well, I see the astrology as being a tool for empowerment. I don't feel it should be used to disempower. I see it as something that can be very valuable in helping you through different stages of your life. And the astrology does show these different stages. And they can be determined by certain planetary movements. Can we transcend our charts? I think the answer to that is yes. I think it is possible to transcend your chart. Have I seen it very often in my career as a professional astrologer for 40-something years? Very, very rarely. But I do think it is doable and possible. The astrology can show you your gifts and your talents, where you might be drawn to, where in your chart you've got an abundance of energy that you could explore that will show your unique gifts. When I look at Oprah, for example, the first, I don't know if she's the first, maybe she wasn't, sorry. I have to be careful with this because I don't know the exact information here, but she was certainly one of the first black broadcasters on American television, I believe. Correct me if it's not true. And she was willing to stand out from the crowd, to be different, and to speak up for that difference. And she's an Aquarian. Aquarius energy. Ellen DeGeneres, another Aquarian, of coming out, speaking out. So there are always certain things in your chart that will show you the highest expression that you can reach, because each sign can be expressed in the lowest of its expression. For example, Aries, what's for me? What's in it for me? That's mine. I'm not sharing that with you. What am I going to do? The highest expression, or one of the highest expressions of Aries, would be, how can I motivate and lead others and show them their greatest expression? So there are many ways of expressing each of these planets. So can you transcend your chart? Yes. I'm getting all kinds of very interesting comments that don't have much to do with what I'm talking about, but that's great. So what this indicates to me is that we're in this mutable soup of energy, because we're coming up to this full moon on the 13th, 14th, where we've got 7 planets in mutable signs. It's a lot, 7 out of 10. I'm being asked a good question. Do I have clients who lean too heavily on astrology? Well, I think it's important to have a balance. I think it can be very, very, very useful for certain dates in your life, like when you're going to get married, like when you're going to have some kind of a surgery or some kind of something done to your body, if you can choose. Certain dates are better than others. Even if you just look at the moon energy, only moon energy, nothing else. We don't even look at any of the other planets. Let's just look at that. We cannot argue that the moon affects the tides. Even somebody who has no belief at all in astrology, and usually somebody who has no belief in astrology has not studied it, because somebody who would study it in depth will see that it has a great deal of validity. So, the moon. There is more madness at the time of a full moon. Bleeding is heavier during a full moon than during a new moon. The body fills up with more fluid at the time of a full moon. There are just certain things that are physiologically, our physiology is affected by the moon. Physiologically. What does mutable planets mean? Thank you, Tracy. Good question. The planets are split up. Sorry, this is just Astrology 101 Basics, to help those of you who don't understand this, into 3 modalities. There are the cardinal signs, and these are Aries, Libra, Cancer, Capricorn, and these are the signs that start the seasons, change of a season. So these are the leaders, these are the initiators. Let's move, let's do this. They do it in different ways, but for that you'd have to come on my beginners webinar, which I'll be doing soon. And then we've got the fixed signs. Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, Aquarius. These are the signs that really stay through. They carry on through. They can be very fixed, but they accomplish something. They're very determined. And the mutable signs, Gemini, Sagittarius, Virgo, Pisces, are all just before the season begins to change. They're that month before, the month before summer, the month before the fall coming up, Virgos, yeah? So this is where things are in great flux. And the mutable signs do have the ability to be more flexible than the others. I'm not saying that they are necessarily, but there is that ability for the flexibility, for the change, for focusing on one thing for a while and getting bored with it and going on to something else. So as we build up to a full moon, there's a fullness happening. There is more light happening. We get to see more of the things, some of the things that maybe you don't want to see, as well as some of the things that you do want to see. I'm hot here, so I'm going to turn the air on. If it's too loud, let me know. And in true Pisces fashion, the Pisces full moon, I will say I'll suffer it. It's all right. But do let me know if it's too loud. I will turn it off. It's okay. It's night time here. It's not too bad. I'm actually hot because I'm excited to be live streaming with you right here, right now. So I'll just use this mutable energy to change and bring different subjects up. Danielle, thank you very much for your generosity. Thank you. So another subject, Instagram. You might want to follow me on Instagram. I'm giving almost daily astro bites, 1 minute usually, sometimes I do 2. And just 1 minute astro bites. So I'm on Barbara Gold 111. There doesn't seem to be a box for me to write it here at the moment. I think there is, but I can't find it. So Barbara Gold 111. You'll find me on Instagram if you'd like to follow. Another thing to cover is that I've got a seminar, live seminar coming up 19th, 20th of October in Greece. Come and join me. Greece is paradise. It's got sunshine, it's got the seaside, beautiful food, beautiful people, and I'm going to be talking about the coming decade. For those of you that can't come, I'll be doing some highlighted opportunity for you to get the streaming afterwards. So, because every day there are new aspects, and you can focus your day around those aspects. That's what I'm trying to do with Instagram every day. If I could do live stream more easily on YouTube, I'd probably do a daily live stream with you, because it's fun. And I can share what's happening with me, and then you can share what's happening with you, and then there's a richness in that. In Athens, yes, I'm doing it in Paleophallero, in the south of Athens, near to the sea. So come and join me. Check out me on the website, and you'll get some more information about this seminar. It's a really special one. I've been preparing it for about 2 years. So, for example, today, Pluto trying to Mercury. Mercury is about communication, and Pluto is about going deep and facing fear in some way. And Pisces, the full moon coming up, and Virgo Pisces, has a lot to do with forgiveness. Asking for forgiveness and forgiving, being forgiving. And I became aware in the last few days that as I was in Vienna, I was in Austria, in Vienna, I love it there, I love the music, that I had a situation with somebody where I didn't feel very good. It happened a few years ago, about 5 years ago, where I left, and I didn't feel very good inside myself of the way that I behaved. And there was a relationship there that had a rift, and I hadn't been in touch with this person for a long time. And then today I just thought, Mercury trine Pluto, good day for it, Pisces full moon coming up. I want to connect with this person. So I reached out, I sent an email. I felt quite afraid to do it, but I thought, no, I wanted to ask if we could connect and heal that separation between us. And within 20 minutes, I got the nicest response. I mean, I was surprised. I didn't expect it, because I did it just because I felt I wanted to do it and I hadn't behaved in a way that I was proud of. So I did get a kind response, and I feel now very grateful that next time I go to Vienna, I shall hopefully meet up with him. So that feels really good. So you can use the astrology constructively. I've still got some more dental work to be done. And I'd love some dentists, any of you dentists out there, really, I'd love dentists to make a study of when they put in a crown or an implant or something, or a new filling, during the waxing moon, that is from the new moon to the full moon, how many times they fall out, or there's a problem, or there's an infection, or there's more swelling, or more bleeding, or more pain, compared to the waning moon, that is from the full moon down to when it goes smaller and smaller to the new moon, where there's, in my experience, there is less complication, less bleeding, less problems, less danger of infection, and quicker healing time, and they don't tend to fall out and people have problems. I'd love that study to be done on a more widespread basis. But the small scale studies that have been done have proved this point. So, okay, thank you. So tooth work correlates to your ancestral karmic work that you found. Thank you. So there is much in the astrology that you can use to be helpful. Now, I'm trying not to laugh, but when you look at Brexit, the final day for the madness of Brexit is the 31st of October. And the 31st of October, as my dear colleague Pam Gregory, wonderful astrologer, pointed out, is the day on which Mercury is stationary retrograde. I mean, you couldn't have a more crazy date where things are going to be miscommunicated, miscalculated, all kinds of comings and goings. I mean, it's just interesting, so to speak. And so I'm not surprised all of this is blowing up and happening as we near towards this crazy Brexit date. And every hour things seem to be changing. Dates for marriage, I have to look at that on a personal level. Yes, if I'm looking for good dates for marriage or that kind of a thing, I need to see both charts and look to see how the dates look. So that's a bit more involved. But when I'm giving you things that are general here, that affect all of us, that you can use and you can test out, try them out, really is the thing to do. I tried this tooth thing out very much. I had an extraction done during a waning moon and an extraction done during a waxing moon. And one took ages to heal and was very, very painful. And the other one healed very quickly. No bleeding, no hardly any swelling, no pain. So, yeah. So, this mutable energy, it's taken me traveling. I went for a few days traveling to Vienna. You might feel restless at this time. It's also a good time. Always when I travel, it opens you up. It opens your perspective. And it opens you to see, how am I reacting to other people? And there's a very different frequency from Greece to Austria. Okay? Huge difference from Southern Europe to, shall we say, Eastern Middle Europe, and the Germanic energy. So the language is different, first of all. Language. Yeah, when you think of Italian, you think of Spanish, Greek. These are very lively languages. Ticano. Πολύ καλά, ευχαριστώ, είμαι καλά, δόξα τω Θεώ. Yeah, and it's got a musicality to it. Uno, due, tre, cinque. Even just to say numbers in Italian sounds like music. And then you come to German, which is more orderly. Even the language is orderly. You have to wait with a German sentence to really know what somebody's saying, because the verb comes at the end. Which is why I always feel so much safer when I'm crossing roads in Austria than when I cross the road in Greece. I have to look several times in Greece. Whereas in Austria, everybody waits. They wait until that man turns green at the lights. It's great. It's beautiful. So, with this energy of Virgo Pisces, especially with the Pisces full moon, it's a time where to notice, it's a full moon, where am I maybe being discriminatory? I had a reaction, I have to admit. I noticed the difference when I went from Greece to Austria, where they have quite a big Muslim population. Big, yeah, it's noticeable. Much smaller here in Greece, at least from where I live and the places I go to. And it was like, oh, that's interesting. And I noticed that other people around having a reaction. How are we reacting to the way people dress, how they are? How am I reacting to very religious Jewish people with the beards and the payers and all of that? Do I have a reaction? And to notice that. Am I having a reaction, or am I just not even noticing? So, yes, ein, zwei, drei. Yeah, I mean, that is a much more serious type of language. And I'm also looking at, studying language and how that affects us in our actions. The German people, they're much more polite. They don't barge in. Yeah, they let you in the lift first. They let you on the train first. Yeah, they'll trample you over in Greece. It's just different. I'm not saying one is right or wrong. It's just different. So how are we reacting to one another's differences? And can we see that we're all one? I'm not saying that I've got it down. I haven't. I do have reactions. I have a reaction when somebody says, "Are you American?" And I do have a reaction and say, "Do I sound American?" And yet really, why would that matter? Yeah, if I sound American, great. I love it when I phone America. And I say to the lady in the bank today, I said, "How are you?" "Oh," she said, I'm marvelous. I'm having a marvelous day," or something like that, she said. And I thought, wow, that's really nice. Americans have got this childlike way with them. And I love that. If you ring up an English bank, they'd never say that to you in a million years. "How are you?" You probably wouldn't even ask that, but if you did ask, you'd just say, "Oh yes, I'm all right, thank you very much, and how are you?" So anyway, I'm chit-chatting here, but this is this mutable type of energy. Here's another thing. Officially, now somebody sent me a link. I'm on Google now with my picture. And I'm officially dead, because there's another Barbara Goldsmith, a very famous philanthropist and author, and they've got my picture on her page. So yeah. Esme, yeah, Esme, you in Canada, you begin conversations with an apology. Well, lots of Brits do that too. I'm sorry, I hope you don't mind if. And would it, or I hope it doesn't inconvenience you too much if. So, yeah. Pisces, Virgo has everything to do with kindness, service, helping. How can I help you? Pisces has everything to do with how can I soothe somebody? Can I console someone? Can I help? What can I do? And look out for that. Yeah, really look out for it. While I was in Vienna, I really wanted to get to the opera, and it was the first night of Traviata. I was sharing a little bit of this on my live stream, but I didn't share all of it. Certainly not what happened afterwards. So the tickets, it was like, they were 300 euros. There were not many left now. I thought, no, I'm not paying 300 euros for a ticket, much as I'd like to see first night of Traviata in the Viennese Opera House. And then I wandered outside, and there was this man saying, you know, tickets 25 euros. And it was a box, and I thought, wow, this has to be a catch. And I thought, okay, I'll try it. So I paid him the money, and I went in. You know, it wasn't a bad seat. I mean, I could only see half the stage, but I could see the orchestra, and it looked nice. But then I went out just before it was about to begin. And this poor Japanese lady, she fell, and she was just sort of sitting, looked completely white, and she was on her own. So I thought, well, I just can't leave her, because people were sort of rushing to go into the opera, and the doctor hadn't arrived yet. So, you know, I sat with her and I said, you know, are you all right? And she, you know, she banged her head, and the doctor came and said, oh, you're all right, it's nothing. And I thought, well, you know, she was 70 years old, and couldn't just leave her there, could you? So I sat with her for a little while, and we were talking, and I got some ice for her, and then the ambulance people came. And you know, she seemed to be okay. You know, I don't think she broke anything or anything like that. And then these two lovely ambulance men came, and they you know, they just said it was best if she got some X-rays. So yeah, that was just nice. You know, she was just a lovely lady. And then I got to see the second half, which was great. So I've noticed that people are ever so kind when you give them a chance to be kind. I didn't expect it to rain. All of a sudden it was raining in Vienna, and I didn't know where to get an umbrella from. So I walked into this shop, and there was a lady just standing there, and I pointed to the umbrella, because my German is not brilliant. It's okay, but I know now that an umbrella in German is Regenschirm or something like that. Regenschirm? Correct me for those of you who are German speaking. And I said to her, where do I buy that? And she just immediately just gave it to me. She said, here, take this. Take mine. We're in the car. We don't need it. And it was a lovely big red umbrella. And I thought, how kind. Yeah, so I'm noticing that it is, thank you, it is Regenschirm, thank you. That if you just give anybody an opportunity to be kind, they are kind. And with this Pisces full moon, you just might want to pay extra special attention to maybe calling somebody up who you know is lonely, to consoling somebody who you know needs consoling, or just being a little more just extra aware of when somebody might need a bit of an extra boost. That's all. And yeah, I just feel that this is a really good time for healing old things, old issues from the past. Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac, so it's a last, get rid of all those last things that you don't want to say, things that you don't want to share, things that need to come out. Because when you get them out, you really heal your physical body. Everything about you just heals. Yeah, everything. Yeah, what are the things that you're not saying? Yeah, I mean, I have to confess, I don't always say everything. Yeah, it's hard, really hard. I have to force myself to be aware and to come out with it. And it's usually little things. It's stuff that I'm making a big deal about that are not so big, really. And then it's such a nice light feeling. I'm sure I've got a lot more energy today simply because I cleared that thing that had been hanging around for several years. I wasn't aware that it had been hanging around for several years. But now as we approach this full moon, you might have an opportunity really to clear something. Yeah. That's been hanging around, that can be a wonderful healing experience for you, because the Virgo and Pisces energy are very much healing energies. So it's a great opportunity for a great healing to happen for you or a loved one. So thank you for liking the video if you've liked it. I'm open to a couple of questions if there are a couple of questions before I go. Please, if you're interested, do follow me on my daily, almost daily, Astro sound bites of 1 minute, 1 or 2 a day, usually 1. On Instagram at BarbaraGold111. And come to my seminar in Greece, 20th of October, all about this coming decade. This decade is huge and there's so much in it, and we'll be looking at how you individually can see how it's going to affect you and where you can contribute, make your unique contribution to the raising of consciousness for this new decade. Because boy, there's much coming. A personal reading, if you go to my website, please, yourastrologysigns.com, there's all the information there. So yeah. Is there a colour that might help you with this work? Wow, that's a great question. It's a big area, but I would say that Pisces energy is often a blue color is very good. Blue is good, and also a violet color, like purpley colors are also really good. So this is a good time of day, I think, in many ways, although it's midnight for me, well, 12:30. It's early in the morning for Australia, New Zealand, but also America is online as well. At least I think some of you are online from America. So thank you very, very much for joining me. I feel a lot of love coming both ways here. Thank you for commenting about my paintings. You might want to have an original painting created specially for you. I have quite a few clients who come to me for that as well. So thank you very, very much for all your kind, lovely feedback. I read every comment, I really do. And much love to you. And here in Greece, I will say Kalinichta. Bye for now. And now I have to work out